So it is my honor to present to you 201 Create. Take it away, Charlotte.
Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte and I'm a team member of 201 Create, and today we're going to talk you through our app, which is called It's a Sign. We can go to the next slide. So we've created a British Sign Language learning app, which is designed to combine machine learning and gamification to provide a fun and interactive learning environment in which you can enjoy quiz-style lessons and hand tracking features while earning badges and XP, which will help you land a place on the leaderboard. And the reason why we chose British Sign Language is because in the UK, there is a community of 150,000 people that use British Sign Language. And of that, 87,000 of them are heavily reliant on it for like daily life and things like that. So we thought it was important to increase the availability of learning resources for BSL. If we can go to the next slide. So our target audience includes schools and parents that are looking to engage children with learning BSL, as it's a good cognitive challenge for children, and it's also been proven to aid in child development in areas such as peripheral vision and reaction time. And also those working in hospitality who want to increase accessibility for deaf customers or those who are hard of hearing, but really anyone can benefit from learning British Sign Language. And I'm going to hand over to Andy for our demonstration. The next slide.
Thanks, Charlotte. Cool, let's get this demo going. So this is the first page we will arrive to when we open the app, and we have the ability to sign in, but for the sake of the demo and time, we've already made an account. So let's go ahead and sign in. And the password won't show because that's a feature of iPhone screen recording just for security reasons. And when we sign in, we're taken to the homepage, which is a list of available lessons. And as you can see here, we've got a few lock lessons, and we're going to start the first lesson. So today we'll be learning how to sign the letter A and B. Cool, let's get it going. How do we sign the letter A? So I can select a few of these options and nothing will happen because they're not correct. So if I sign the correct one, we can see it comes next, and we're on to the next question. Which letter does the sign represent? So I know this represents the letter B, so we can go on to the next. And we get to sign the letter A in real time. Awesome. And we can finish, and we've unlocked lesson 2, and we've earned some fantastic XP, which we can then head over to the profile, and we can see on our profile we now have some updated XP, and we've also gained some badges. And if we press on the badges, we will see that we've reached level 1. Good job. And we can also scroll through some of our avatars if you want to change up what your profile looks like, make it fresh. And if we head over to the leaderboard, we can see that we're there 4th on the leaderboard. Cool. We can get to the top one day, I'm sure. And also, if we head over to settings, we've got a few options we can change, like editing the email, editing the name, editing the password, if you so wish. And I think that's enough learning for today, so we can then sign out, and we're taken back to the sign-in page. And thank you for watching the demo. I will pass you over to Natasha, who's going to speak about the back end.
Excellent. Thanks, Andy. So we're going to be talking a little bit about backend and the technologies we used. We chose MongoDB as our cloud database because it is more suitable for mobile apps and also stores data in the form of keys and values, which we loved. We considered Firebase but chose MongoDB over it. We created a test database first, and towards the end of the project, we used our development database. We built our REST API in the Node.js environment, of course, and we used the Express framework to build our server easier. We used Express's middleware Mongo Sanitize to prevent query selector injection attacks. Because, as you saw in the demo, our users were able to sign up and create a profile, there are 2 unique identifiers where their username and their password. So we created a security feature with the Bicrypt library that helped us hash our users' passwords before they are saved into the database. We implemented test-driven development, and for our code testing, we used the Mocha test framework that makes a synchronous test with the Chai assertion library, which is easy to use and it reads similar to plain English. We also decided to validate our user inputs before they made a request to the database, and we used the Joy module for that. All of the backend libraries that we used were fairly easy to navigate and understand in the documentation, so we were able to use them even though we hadn't yet learned them in the course. Our backend app was deployed in the Heroku platform, and now moving on to front end, presented by Pratik.
Thank you, Natasha. So for the front end, we decided to use React Native, and we chose it because it allows you to develop cross-platform applications. And this was really important for us because right from the beginning, we had a vision of making the app available to as many people as possible. Since we only had 8 days to do the actual coding, speed was really important. So this is why we decided to use the Expo framework. And Expo really sped up the development process for us because it would set up the project for us, and it would also compile the code to be run on both iOS and Android devices. Expo also allowed us to run the app on our phone during development, and this meant that we could get a really good feel of the user experience. Next, we used Axios to communicate with the backend through HTTP requests. Next, we used Google's Teachable Machine. And what Google's Teachable Machine does is it allows you to create machine learning models using labeled images. And once it creates a model for you, you can download the model and store it on the front end. So that's what we did for our app. The model uses TensorFlow.js to run. So once we had the model working and stored on the front end, what we did was every second, we would feed it with an image that we got through the camera stream, and the model would provide a prediction for the image. So that's how the app knows whether you are doing the right sign or not. And that's all the technologies we use for the front end. Now moving on to the next section of the presentation, where we'll be discussing about project planning. It will be presented by my teammate, Josh.
Thank you, Pratik. So the first part of our design process was to break our project down into some manageable tasks and create a product that was designed with the user in mind. To do this, we used the user stories, which helped us decide on the essential features of our MVP and create additional push goals depending on how our progress was going. We also chose to use Figma to design the layout of our pages and our component hierarchy before we began coding. This built upon our user stories and gave us a better understanding of how the different sections of our application would work together to provide the desired user experience. As a part of our initial design process, we spiked several technologies. This allowed us to quickly decide on the implementation of 3 core technologies as an achievable but also challenging goal to push the technical skills of our team. We found that Teachable Machine and MongoDB were the 2 most important parts of our project, and also the technologies that we had the least amount of relevant experience to draw on. We made sure to quickly build out a test case for both of these, minimizing the risk of running into unforeseen issues later down the line, and ensuring all the members of our team would be able to get hands-on experience with them. If we could move on to our next slide, please. So for our workflow, the daily stand-up was an essential part of our routine. It allowed us to communicate clearly with the whole team and also let us quickly find issues we were struggling with and provide support to people easily. We couldn't have managed the complexity of the project we were dealing with, so we found that the communication that was given by a Kanban board through Trello was essential. Having a visual display of our own tasks and those of our teammates let everyone know where we were in the app's development and helped us to avoid unnecessary effort working on the same components. Throughout, we had a strong focus on pair programming, which encouraged the sharing of knowledge, allowing members to quickly be brought up to speed with the new technology, rather than spending time figuring out old issues that have already been solved on their own. To manage the numerous changes we were making daily across 5 different systems, we made use of Git. Learning to use branches to manage new features and prevent bugs from reaching our main branch saved us a lot of time overall, despite the initial issues we may have faced. And from the start, we knew that it was important to ensure a good team dynamic. From the very first week before we began the project, we made sure to look at our individual strengths and weaknesses and see how we could use those to work effectively as a team. And I'll hand you over now to Charlotte to talk through our challenges.
So though there's bound to be some teething issues when you're using a new technology that you've never used before, as we did during the development of our app, we found a number of challenges occurred when trying to access the device's camera using React Native, and then when attempting to incorporate the machine learning code so that the teachable machine model could be used by the camera. And we found that diving into the official documentation, finding posts related to similar scenarios on Stack Overflow, and also a lot of trial and error, helped us get the camera function working, with the result being a live camera stream being fed to the teachable machine model, allowing prediction of whether the correct sign was being shown in lessons, as you could see earlier in the app demo. So if you could go to the next slide. We'd like to thank Northcoders and all the tutors for their help and support the past 3 months. And a big thanks to my teammates who've been great to work with, and thanks for watching. You can find our names and our GitHub details at the bottom, and please let us know if you have any questions.